Hey, everybody, welcome back to Total Disruption. My name is Mike Libercci. On behalf of my partner, Jake Glendenning, I'd like to welcome Tyler Wagner, who is a total disruptor in his space. I am so excited to learn from you today. Tyler, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Man, we're super pumped here. So, you're your platform's Authors Unite, and I'm sure you're an investor and you have a bunch of other things. Why don't you just give a brief synopsis about who you are, what you're doing, and what we're talking about today? So let's hook it up.
Yeah. So basically, long story short is I was 19. I read The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. 3 weeks later, I dropped out of college. And then I decided I wanted to be a public speaker. And so I decided to write a book because I had just noticed most speakers at events were authors or best selling authors. So I wrote the book for that reason and did pretty well, did about a dozen events at like 19, 20 years old, got paid a little bit of money for speaking. But what took off way quicker was people kept asking me how I wrote the book, published it, and marketed my first book and how it became a bestseller. And so I was just aware of it. I was getting hundreds of messages about it. And I just realized, like, wow, this is a big market. I had no idea so many people wanted to become authors. And then I basically just turned it into a business. And kind of the first thing I did is I figured out how all the bestseller lists work. So, like, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, etc. And fast forward now, 15 years later, we've helped about 5,000 people become best-selling authors, and yeah, that's kind of the journey on the professional. And then, like you said, investing, gold, crypto, all that stuff. But professionally, Authors Unite's my main business.
So I'll be honest with you, man. I've written a couple of Amazon bestsellers, and I've been like a co-author in a few bestsellers. It's a pretty cool accomplishment. I mean, there's definitely a formula to create the bestseller. I haven't hacked the New York Times. Maybe I have to, after we're done this interview here, I have to peel off a little bit of your brain one of these days and say, man, how do I get to that New York Times bestseller? But I'll be honest with you, most people that write books and speak use books as a physical business card. And I think having a physical business card, I think having written a book, you hear two stories. One is, oh, everyone's done it, you're self published, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter to me whether you're published or self published. If you're trying to create impact and you're trying to get your message out there and you're a self published author, right? You're out there, you're speaking, you're giving people tangible context they can take with them. It's analog, right? They can flip open the pages, it's tactile, it's a piece of you with them. And if you're smart, you've got your face on the front, side, back, right? You've got your information everywhere. Now, when you hear me say published versus self published, what would you say when somebody comes up to you and says, okay, how do I get published? Do I make money? Do I just get a published book? Then I go what? Sign a bunch of things and I make $1 million. Is that how it works? Right?
No, this
You
is a
got
great
published, I
question.
get $1 million, and I'm set for life.
No, so this is a great question, and it's a common misconception of people when they're like new to the space, which obviously I know because you've been through multiple books, so you're very aware of it. But point being is my opinion is this: reality is like 99% of the public it doesn't really know the difference between the bestseller lists and also like the value of difference between self-published and publisher.
Okay.
So as far as the 99% goes, I think you self-publishing a book and becoming an Amazon bestseller is fantastic, right? And to the general, and most of your audience will most likely be the general audience. So I
Yeah.
think definitely do that. Nothing wrong with it. That's also where I started too. Like my first book was an Amazon bestseller, and then I don't remember which number it was, but it was like my sixth or seventh became a number one Wall Street Journal. And we've done New York Times for other people, but I haven't done it myself. But regardless, you're still a best-selling author regardless. But the
I love
people
that
like,
gold sticker.
yeah, exactly. And then it's really just the people in the industry or the people in the know or whatever of the industry. they know that USA Today, Wall Street, and New York Times, those three, they're very, very hard to get because you need thousands to tens of thousands of sales. Whereas Amazon, depending on the category, it just depends.
So
Uh,
I'm actually a best-selling author in the proper category, right? I'm not
nice.
a best-selling
Yeah,
author
yeah. That's
in
all.
the I paint butterfly wings category.
I always say mowing grass category or something.
Yeah, nobody's a better lawnmower than me. No, really, in like small business and entrepreneurship, I actually two or three of them, and we placed pretty high in a couple of them. So yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It's definitely an art, and it adds some relevance. I don't know about you, right? But when it comes to authoring material, and I'll go back to this, regardless of whether let's touch on the published versus self-published
yeah,
piece in a minute, but it's a point. I used to be afraid to write books because I didn't want to get disproven years later, or somebody figures out my philosophy sucked down the road. Like this was like limiting belief crap that I used to have.
yeah.
I think a book is written for the amount of knowledge you've acquired about a certain subject at that point in time. Whether it's hot, whether it's not, certain tactics work and certain tactics are timeless. It all depends on the industry niche and the model of the book. So if somebody's out there and they're thinking about authoring a book and they don't know what to write about, or they don't quite know how to organize their thoughts, I know that's how you help them. But I'm going to encourage them to engage you regardless, or engage your team regardless, because the accumulation of your knowledge, no one knows any better about what you're trying to do than you. And nobody is better at what you're doing than you out there listening. And giving your information, truncating the knowledge for others to learn from, to me, is priceless. I don't care whether it costs you $6 a book to make. Get it out there, make it work, put it in a PDF, do something. So let's talk about this real quick. Let's go from what is the difference between self-published and then published, and what are some benefits of both? And then how does your team handle either one of those two genres?
Yeah, I would say really the only benefit of, and I might be a little biased, we're like a book marketing firm that also does like hybrid publishing, but I would say traditional publishing, there is some brand equity, right? If you get like a Penguin or HarperCollins logo on the book.
Okay.
But reality is the benefits really are getting into the physical bookstores. And then also for New York Times, there are some outliers like David Goggins. I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
He's actually a self-published author that hit New York Times. He was self-published, but it is very rare to hit New York Times if you're self-published. It's kind of almost like so rare that you almost need to be traditionally published. So if you want to hit New York Times, traditional publisher is a good idea. And if you want your books to be like orchestrated throughout the physical stores and airports and like Books a Millions and stuff like that, having a physical or a hybrid with good distribution is ideal. Whereas self-published, it's just a lot harder to get that type of distribution. You'll be set online regardless. And here's actually my argument to why I would say for 90% of people, I think self-published is the way to go. And or hybrid, but for self-published, what you can do is if it matters to you, you can actually create your own imprint so that it doesn't say like independently published on the bookstore pages. So all you do is you just go to Bowker or My Identifiers and buy your own ISBNs, and you can set up your own publishing imprint. And then to the outside world, nobody knows the difference, right? Like, and you can have the publishing house or imprint that you create. It can be branded similar to your company. So then it also helps your brand. And then the thing is, too, you keep a majority of the royalties, you have all the ownership, you have full control. When you go to a traditional, typically the deal is you're getting 10 to 20%. They keep 80 to 90% of the royalties. And they might even own the rights and the content and so you're giving up a lot by going. And it's kind of like this as time has progressed and I guess the pathway to becoming an author, the gates that used to be there have been removed. It just makes more sense now than ever to do it in a self-published or hybrid publishing path. and not like you don't need to give up all these things now to become an author. It's not like it used to be, 30, 40 years ago where the only way to get a book out there was a traditional publisher, right? Like that kind of used to be the only option. Now that we have these self-publishing pathways where you can just have an Amazon account and go on KDP and literally you just have to do the formatting of the cover. I would still hire a designer, of course, and then the interior formatting, and then you upload the books on Amazon in 48 hours. It's like, and another, there's so many examples, but here's one more. If you go traditional, chances are it's going to take it just to get a yes. It'll take a year to 2 years just to get a yes. And then if you get the yes, they have a pipeline of books, right? So if you get the yes, it could take another 1 to 2 years for it to actually come out. So in today's world of technology, AI and everything, depending on what you write about, do you like, will your book's content be as relevant as it is now 4 years from now? And do you want to wait 3 to 4 years to have it go live? To me, the best time to write a book is kind of 2 times in your life. One, like now or as early as possible. I am a testament to that. Like writing a book at 19, 20 years old changed my entire life. And did I have the most knowledge ever? Of course not. I've grown a lot since then and I'll continue to grow. I mean, I'm only 34 still, so I have time. But I think that's a limiting belief that people have is they think they need to wait until they're kind of later in life to write the book. So write one now, get the benefits, and then write one later as well. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing. So those are kind of the 2 best times I would say to write it.
So when it comes to that, by the way, if I hope nobody's just blown, you've given just in this interview, you've given out probably sub 100 hours worth of research that somebody can just do. Because I'll be honest with you, we did all that when we published ourselves, right? And it took hours and hours to find even keywords and searching and credible sources and all that stuff. Like you just thank you. I can't thank you enough for giving that out. Now, when it comes to monetizing, right? Because you guys make money over there, and you've helped people make a lot of money in book sales. It's not as easy as you think. Just because you're on Amazon, just because you're, like you said, you could be in every store in America. Somebody else could own 80% of your stuff, right? Like, okay, I get that formula, but how does somebody make money these days with a book? Like, do you make money with a book, or is it, I'm going to play stupid here. I'm going to let you walk the crowd through it. And especially with AI. I got another AI question for you in a minute. But do people make money anymore writing books, selling books?
It's an outlier. I would say the way that most of our clients are 7 to 9, mostly 7 and 8, some rare 9-figure entrepreneurs. And the way you make money is mostly from the back end, right? So a lot of times our clients, they're using their book to funnel into their business, whether like course, consulting, public speaking, etc. And that's where you can make a lot of money with it. Like the book kind of becomes the foundation of your brand and your funnels, if you will. And then everything stems from that. And then flows into your higher ticket offerings, like I just previously mentioned. And that's where the money's made. I will say there are some outliers. Like we have a few clients, like one, his name's John Jaquish. He sold 200,000 plus copies after we did his bestseller campaign for Wall Street Journal. So it can happen, but even him actually, and he's a business owner, he sells this thing called the X3. It's like this workout equipment. The 200,000. Oh yeah, dude, I love it, by the way. So not to just saying it actually, I think works pretty well, but regardless, he was one of our clients, sold that many copies. I don't know exactly his business revenue and stuff, but I would say he's probably made way more from his back end sales from the book, like from the equipment sales and the supplement sales and stuff, from people seeing his book, then researching him or reading his book and then going further into his website and stuff, than he has on the royalties of the book. And 200,000 copies, you're going to make, that's got to be millions of dollars in royalties, right? So you still, but that's a huge outlier, just to be clear. Like most people, we do their launch, they become bestseller, they'll make a decent amount on the bestseller because we sell a lot of copies for them. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't come anywhere close to what the branding does for your business, and then what you're able to do with public speaking, coaching,
Now,
consulting, so
do
all
you
that.
guys lay out a formula for people, or should they like hire
Yeah.
somebody like me to do that?
Well, no, actually, it could be a mixture of both. I would say like we have 4 phases, right? So we'll help people write the book, get them on any bestseller list they want, and then we build out their book funnels, and then we do ongoing marketing after. But there's marketing, in my opinion, is limitless. So there's so many like team members like yourself that could like come into play here to expand it further. So I would say it's a mixture, right? Definitely. But to
But
me,
it,
or sorry, go ahead.
it's definitely an investment. So like
Yeah.
somebody needs to because I'd like to be clear. I'm a straight shooter with total disruption, baby. We're straight out and we're straight out. There's a number involved. Like if you're a person that just wants to write a book to write a book, there's formulas for that. There's formulas for that. But if you want to write a book and you want to monetize your knowledge, the book is a gateway. I'm sort of repeating what you're saying. The book is a gateway, but there's definitely fees and costs and time and energy involved. Somebody has to be or has to have a team member that needs to work and organize and almost coordinate this process, right? And your team does just that. And I'm sure there's different ways of engagement with your company, but I can't stress enough. Like if you're just out there as a solopreneur and you're very successful and you want to take your business somewhere else and or more sales, more customers, you want to globalize, whatever the words and the pipe dreams are. If you don't have a team, it is very hard to manage. If you don't have somebody like yourself or like your company, and this is not a pitch for your company, I get nothing out of this. I just love interviewing people like you that are bringing other people to the finish line, right? To me, there's something real there. Like there's knowledge there. The things you've already shared are super impactful. Without that team and without that vision and without that accountability, the book writing world gets a little hazy. And you're sitting around with 75 to 100 extra copies in your basement, and you think you're going to go on the road with them, but you don't. And all of a sudden, now you've got a really nice collection of your own books, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when we talk about a process and we talk about a tip to tail concept, how long does this take, right? I come to you, I say, Tyler, I've got this idea. Um, I'm ready to write a book, or I've got something written, or I've got an outline down. How long does all this nonsense take before I see my first dollar?
I would say the writing is the biggest variable, but let's say we're ghostwriting it for you. I would say that's typically like a 4 to 6 month time frame to get to the final draft. So that includes the editing, about 4 months to get to the rough draft, and then about 2 months of editing. And that typically entails like weekly Zoom calls with one of our writers, asking you questions each week, and then continuously writing the chapters. And then once the rough draft is done, then some back and forth, like 2 or 3 passes of editing, developmental, copy, and proofreading. And then the publishing, and this is one of the big differences, as I was mentioning before. Publishing with us could take like a month, right? That's to do the book cover, the formatting, get all the like everything, and get you live on all the bookstores. And with a traditional publisher, we're talking in the years, not in the days, right? So it's just that's a dramatic difference. And then bestseller campaign, we typically like line that up at the beginning of the engagement because we have to. There's a lot that has to be done, especially if you're going for one of the major lists like NYT or USA Today, etc. So I would say first dollar, 6, 7 months from the time you start, and you could be, spending anywhere from 5 to 6 figures to get all those things done. So it is a pretty decent investment up front to pull it off. And then obviously, the other stuff like the book funnels, getting you on podcasts, media, things like that. That's more after the bestseller, I would say. Book funnel you want to have ready prior, but the podcasts and stuff. The thing is, you have to plan for all of this far in advance, right? Because podcasts, some shows you got to book 6 months out, 7 months out. And ideally, with your media, you want all your media to land during your bestseller week and for months, maybe a year after your best selling campaign week. So it is a lot of time or money. If you try to do it all yourself, it's a full-time job. So if you pay somebody like us, it's a good amount of money up front, and you have to line all these aspects up. And then, yeah, you're waiting 6 or 7 months to start to get a return from it.
Wow, that sounds like it involved definitely need a team for that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about writing this stuff down, man, with the AI and like this sort of this checking and who owns what and what owns who. There's all these myths out there. I'm going to cover a couple things. You at least need to contextually write 15% to 25% of your own material to consider it to be yours. I heard another one where there's software that can check if it's AI. Not that I don't know. I don't know about you, dude, but I'm not checking other people's work to see if it's AI or not. Like I'm not doing that. But I meet a lot of people, right? And I just hear these things, right? Like I'll give you an example. One of my kids' school, one of my kids is in high school. They have a rule that you cannot use AI to write, and they do have in high school now. They can check to see if something is written by AI or written by you. I don't know how. Maybe that's a myth. Maybe that's just a fake threat. I don't know, but I'm not gambling with that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, what is that? Is it a myth? I mean, are we going to just let AI like write all the books, or is it, hey, I'm going to basically dictate into my Google Doc a bunch of things, and then I'll have this AI write it, and then I'll have like Tyler edit it, and I'm going to have a killer book? Is it too easy?
Yeah.
Did I pull back too far? Like, what are we doing?
No. I think this is actually, it's kind of the perfect thing to talk about because it's kind of, it's already here in some regard. And I think it's inevitable in the next, 2 years or so. Meaning that in the book publishing industry or author industry, writer industry, the AI is already disrupting it and is going to dramatically disrupt it even more as time progresses because there is so many AI books, and it's kind of, to me, it's helping editors and ghostwriters right now, but I think it's going to wipe their jobs out in 2 years from now. So that's kind of the sad reality of it. And I mean, I'm not sure about the constraints or like the percentages that you were speaking of, but
I don't even know who's checking that. These are just things I've heard to be able to claim the material is yours, or that you're not plagiarizing, or there needs to be some originality in there for it to qualify for something. But again, these are rumors I hear. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, my guess is that actually it very well could be true. But my guess is that there are a lot of people that are just pumping out tons of books right now that are 100% AI, and they're taking credit for them. And I will say, the thing is, there's always checks and balances, right? So like Amazon's AI of detecting this stuff will also get better in time because
Okay.
I mean, and it continuously gets better in a lot of different ways. Like its review system is like very protected. Like you can't really you can't like hack Amazon reviews. It's like not like they have to be legitimate or they get taken down. So either way, just one example. But point is, I do think it's kind of sad because in my opinion, like having an AI write all these books on all these different topics, there will be some value in there. But I think it is more valuable if it comes from the true lived experience of the person, depending on the topic. But in most cases, I think it's more valuable coming from the person. So I would just say that it's inevitable. I think the books that provide the most value will always like sell the most and make the most noise in the long term from word of mouth. And my guess is those will be more of the human based books rather than the AI. So although the industry will be crowded with all this nonsense, and most will be below par quality, I think, because a lot of people are just like literally not even checking them, just pumping them out and publishing them like automatically. So those will fall to the side. The ones that are really good will go to the top as typical. And yeah, the last thing I would say on it is if you're in the industry, just be ready for that big shift. And I feel kind of lucky we're more on the book marketing side. Like I would view us as a book marketing firm that also does publishing. And the marketing side, I don't think will be nearly as impacted as the
Well,
creation.
and I can tell you, for being an author, you need to market and just
Yeah.
business owner. I'm not going to bore everybody with marketing, but you just need to get your shit out there, like you just do. Without, again, you don't want 700 copies of your own book because you're trying to get to some bestseller list, right? You want to get your books out there. You want to give them to people. You want to impact people. And the idea behind a book is the funnel, is to create the impact, is to move the needle, and to people like yourself doing book marketing and helping people publish. I mean, that's again, I'm going to echo what I said earlier. I can't stress enough to try to engage. How do people engage your company? What's your website? Give me a social media handle. We're almost out of time, and tell me anything you want to add to this conversation, unless you're good to go, because we've shared a ton of knowledge in this half hour together here.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Easiest way, just authorsunite.com. And then we have like a message thing on the website. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us there.
Are you on social at all? You want anybody to check you out there, or are you a ghost?
Yeah, no, I'm on Instagram, Tyler B. Wagner. That
Tyler
works.
B. Wagner, man, hook him up, DM him, do what you got to do. I don't know that he'll reply, but do something. He gets a lot of DMs. There's a lot of people trying to reach into his pocket. And then again, can I please have your website one more time?
Yeah, it's authorsunite.com.
It'll be in the show notes, people, but at the same time, authorsunite.com. Tyler, thank you so much, man. You've been a wealth of knowledge. I can't thank you enough for delivering all this value to the audience. On behalf of Tyler Wagner, I'm Mike Libercci, and for Jake Clendenning, thanks for tuning in. Now it's your turn to